It's 2:17 a.m. The computer screen is still glowing. The world is already fast asleep while you are hard at work. You tell yourself just one more hour. Because if you want to make something of yourself, you've got to hustle. That sentence built a generation. It built startups, it built personal brands. And if we stop hustling, then who are we? Unless hustle culture is the most convincing lie we have ever agreed to believe. We wake up before the sun, 5 a.m. alarms, cold showers, black coffee, a perfectly arranged desk, a perfectly optimized life. On our screens, success looks disciplined, controlled, engineered. Entrepreneurs like Mark Cuban tell us to outwork everyone. Founders like Elon Musk speak about 80 to 100-hour work week like it's a badge of honor. The message is clear. If you're tired, you're trying. If you're grinding, you are growing. If you're exhausted, you are becoming powerful. And if you stop, you fall behind. Still, hustle culture doesn't feel oppressive. It feels empowering. It tells you you're not stuck, you're building. You're not anxious, you're driven. You are not insecure, you are just ambitious. And in a chaotic world, that message feels stabilizing because hustle culture offers something deeper than money. It offers identity. But here is what's interesting. Psychologists have been studying a version of this for decades. They don't call it hustle culture, they call it workaholism. Workaholism is defined as a compulsive and excessive need to work beyond what the job requires, even when it harms health or relationships. And research across decades show it's associated with chronic stress, burnout, work-family conflict, and impaired well-being. Not just in one generation, across millennials, across Gen X, across older generations too. Hustle culture isn't a millennial or a Gen Z trend. It's a modern aesthetic layered over an older psychological pattern. But what drives it? It's not just ambition, it's internal pressure. Many studies show that workaholism isn't primarily caused by bosses forcing overtime. It's driven by self-imposed standards, an internal voice saying, "You are not enough. Do more, be more." And social media amplifies this fear. Every scroll is a comparison. Someone is earning more, someone is younger and already ahead. Hustle culture ties identity to productivity. When your worth equals your output, rest feels dangerous. Because if you're not producing, who are you? This is where the anxiety creeps in. You can love your work and still be psychologically strained by it. That's the trap. You have probably heard people say that Gen Z isn't buying into hustle culture the way previous generations did. They're questioning it, challenging it, and pushing back more openly than ever. To understand why, we need to go back a bit. In 2008, millions watched financial systems collapse. Loyal employees were laid off. Degrees didn't guarantee security. The narrative that work hard and you'll be rewarded started to crack. Occupational health psychologist Joanne Segrist developed what's called the effort-reward imbalance model. The idea is simple. Stress increases when high effort is not matched by proportional reward. For older generations, hustle often resulted in a proportional reward, moving up in the world. But for many younger adults facing debt, housing crisis, gig instability, this equation feels different. The effort is high, but the reward feels uncertain. And therefore, motivation drops. Not because people are lazy, but because the system appears unresponsive. Maybe younger generations aren't rejecting hard work. Maybe they recalculated the cost-benefit equation and decided the sacrifice no longer guarantees dignity. Sometimes disengagement isn't laziness, it's adaptation. Now zoom out. Who benefits from a world where everyone feels personally responsible for constant growth? Sociologist Max Weber once wrote about the moralization of work in his book The Protestant Ethic and the Spirit of Capitalism. The idea that hard work isn't just economic, it's virtuous. Over time, productivity became morality. If you work hard, you're good. If you struggle financially, you just didn't try hard enough. Modern hustle culture takes this further. Corporations benefit from these employees who push themselves without being asked. Platforms reward creators who never stop posting. The gig economy normalizes instability, but frames it as freedom. The system becomes invisible, and the individual absorbs the pressure. If you burn out, it's not structural, it's personal. If you fail, it's not economic conditions, it's your morning routine. This is the genius of hustle culture. It privatizes stress. It turns exhaustion into a character flaw. And when pressure feels like a personal deficiency, you work harder. But the body keeps score. When urgency becomes a lifestyle, constant deadlines, constant notifications, constant comparison, the nervous system adapts. Your brain begins to live in a constant fight or flight mode. Achievement becomes a dopamine loop. Finish a task, feel relief, set a bigger goal, feel pressure, repeat. Over time, many people don't know how to rest without guilt. They take a day off and feel behind. They reach a milestone and feel empty. They slow down and feel anxious. Because if your identity is built on output, then who are you without it? Burnout isn't just physical fatigue then. It's identity collapse. It's the terrifying silence that appears when performance stops. And for many, that silence feels more threatening than exhaustion. So they return to the grind, not because they love it, but because they don't know who they are without it.
So, what is the alternative? Quit ambition, reject success, abandon discipline? Not necessarily. The real question isn't whether to work hard, it's whether your work is driven by intention or insecurity. Hustle culture teaches control through force. Wake up earlier, push harder, outperform everyone. But real psychological power might look different.
It might look like emotional regulation, the ability to pause without panic, the ability to succeed without tying your worth to it. Maybe rest is not weakness, but simply calibration. What if true power isn't domination over time, but mastery over your internal state? In a culture addicted to performance, choosing awareness may be the most radical act. Maybe the ultimate flex isn't a 5 a.m. routine. Maybe it's knowing you don't need one to feel enough. Work-life balance isn't softness. In occupational science, it's a protective factor. Balancing effort with recovery reduces anxiety, lowers burnout risk, and improves long-term well-being across generations. If your worth depends on constant output, you will never feel finished. So maybe hustle culture isn't just about work. Maybe it's about fear. Fear of irrelevance, fear of instability, fear of not being enough. And maybe younger generations aren't weak for questioning it. Maybe they simply noticed something others normalized, that identity built on performance is fragile. So ask yourself, are you chasing success or are you negotiating your worth? And if the grind stopped tomorrow, who would you be? Would you be subscribing to Bedroom Labs? Would you be giving this video a like? If you do, I will hustle to make videos on more interesting topics like this for you. I cover psychology of power, culture, and emotional conditioning on this channel, among other upcoming fictional content as well. That's it for this one. Stay curious.